Well, a look from high in the sky at the Hoover Dam near the Nevada-Arizona border. It was built in 1936. You see the water flowing Lake Mead, and the Colorado River gets over 1 million people a year. More millions will come to Las Vegas than the Las Vegas Strip in Nevada, USA, as we are here for the 3-6-1 World Men's Curling Championship 2018 right here, the Orleans Arena, playing host for the first time. It's had previous curling events, but this is the first time the world has made their way inside. And we're down to the final two sessions. Session 19, Japan versus Sweden. They take to the ice. Luke Ole here with you alongside two-time Olympian and world champion and Swiss Helm. So you see the teams making their way out there. The final time for some of these teams enjoying every moment of it. Great to see the smiles and excitement. We know we'll see Nicholas Edin and his side a few more games still into the playoffs as they have a spot in the semifinals. They want more. Let's meet the teams here. The lead for Japan, Yutaka Aoyama. Second, Ryotaro Shikuya. And the skip, throwing third stones, Masaki Iwai. And their fourth stone thrower, Go Aoki. And they'll take on Sweden with their lead, Christopher Sundgren. Second, Rasmus Vrana. Third, Oscar Eriksen. And the skip, Nicholas Edin. Here's the standings coming into session 19. Scotland, Sweden are into the semifinals, while Canada, Norway have qualified. Switzerland, Korea, Russia, and the US really battling out for those final two spots. Italy at 4 and 7, then Netherlands at 3 and 7. China, Japan, both 3 and 8, and Germany rounds out the 13-team field at 1 and 10. Here's what's going on in session 19. Japan, 3 and 8, takes on Sweden. That's our feature game on sheet A. China takes on Scotland on sheet B. Well, sheet C, Korea, Norway, and on sheet D, Russia playing the Netherlands. As the teams get set, ready to go. Here, say good afternoon, and Swiss Helm.
Good afternoon, Luke. This is going to be an outstanding matchup, and joining in the crowd are some of the top performing junior curlers that come over to the Men's World Championship every year from Sweden. They bring their whole school. They're here to watch the #1 team, or the team with the potential to be #1, Sweden, and they're taking on Japan. There's some faithful here from cheering on this rookie Japan team.
Well, Sweden knows this is their last round robin. They won't play till tomorrow afternoon, evening, not determined yet based on how the other games play out. And they know if they win, they get the top seed. They'll be into the semifinal, and they'll play the lowest seed in their semifinal game.
Yeah, and Nicholas Edin coming off a significant victory in this morning's draw in session 18. They played the reigning world champions, Team Canada, and took the final point in the last end and won that game. And with a win here, Nicholas Edin and Team Sweden would take the #1 seed going into those playoffs. It's a big game, and Sweden will throw the yellow stones, Japan will throw the red ones. And this game is big for Japan because it is their last game here at the World Championship. It is their last opportunity to learn all they can. And Yutaka Aoyama, he's had a wonderful tournament. Very steady. And one of the things you're going to hear on the mics, this team from Japan, they are enjoying every second of every rock and all of the opportunities they've got. And they are giggling.
They are as well, and Sweden has a reason. They could giggle if they want, but they've got their game face on there, much straighter. Team, when they're on the ice, they'll put the corner guard out in front.
These guys are consummate professionals. They work so hard. They train nearly every single day of the year. They travel all over the world. And here they are playing a first-time world traveling team, Japan. It's the last game of the round robin. Team Sweden's going to take it very seriously.
First stone in the rings now. Center line guard to start things off. Aoyama.
That's a great start for Aoyama. And this will be a little touch shot around. Sweden would love to freeze right next to the Japanese stone that's in the forefoot.
Linjen okej för frysen, Rasmus? Full 4 nästa. Alle går. Jag har inte tack. Precis emot nu. Snyggt. Mycket bra.
Well, if you could walk it down the ice and place it, that's where you'd put it.
Ryotaro Shikuya, 22-year-old, has only been curling for 4 years and is in a world championship, so very raw talent for this Japanese team.
And it is a ton of talent. So this team's kind of a split team. You've got half the team being a little bit more veteran players, even though they don't have any world experience, and two really young players with just a very bright future. And there they are. Ryotaro Shikuya and Go Aoki for Japan. Speaking of young players with a ton of talent, the newest member to the lineup for Niklas Edin is Rasmus Rana.
Well, trying to curl a little more, it just rolls off. It's still shot stone for Sweden.
It does bounce out into the open and leave one of the Japanese stones underneath the corner guard. Shikuya needs a hit and a roll now. They'd love to be able to use that center line guard for protection.
Well, let's look at the rules of play. 6 ends must be played, or a team can concede 38 minutes of thinking time for each team and 1 60-second timeout.
Yeah, we are scheduled to play 10 ends, but a team is allowed to concede the victory if they feel that it is out of reach after 6 ends.
Yep.
Well, they can't get to it. They end up chipping off of that corner. Quiet enough weight. Sit, shot stone.
Yeah, that was beautiful weight, just they didn't quite have the line they were looking for. But they end up getting a pretty good result from a missed shot. And the vice skip is the 4th stones thrower for Japan. And their skip throws the 3rd stones. That's Masaki Iwai.
Well, he's 32 years of age. You said, Anne, a couple a little bit older. Trying to find that right balance. Obviously, a lot to learn here for this team. Coming in, winning 3 games. Some people may not have predicted at that level for this side.
Yeah, and, you know, you never know, especially a team that you've never seen before, that no one outside of Japan has really seen. This combination is new. You never know what they're gonna be able to bring to the field of play. There was talk that they might not win a game after they dropped their opener to the United States, and then they came back with a couple of great wins. They came back and won their game against the Netherlands, Germany, and their Pacific Asia compatriots, China. And they would really love to give this team from Sweden a great game.
Oscar Eriksen, 26 years of age. Make the double and sit there. Well, glance, does it push that one out? Looks like there might be air between it and the rings. Oscar Eriksen is a little too thick on that top one.
Yeah, and just ricochets off the side one. He wanted to kind of just nut that double and sit there. The danger is, did he actually tick that side one out of play? Looks like it might still be on, biting the edge of the rings over there on the left part of the house.
Misaki Iwai.
Yes!
Try and make the hit now, the guard's out of play. And that one can thin, chips that one off to the side. And they will get it just out.
But that is pretty dangerous.
So a thought from an indication from Nicholas that he took a very quick look that it was in.
Yeah, and that's why he's splitting the rings here. He's going to try and create as much separation as possible between the two stones. He knows that Go Aoki, the scouting report on the young fourth thrower for Japan, is that he can throw the heat, lots of power. Cross-house doubles are absolutely available to the young player from Japan. So as much separation as possible between these rocks. He'd love to leave them even. Kind of like that.
So pretty even in the house. Long way to roll to try and jump it across. I don't think you can physically make that. This is the impossible double.
This might be the impossible double. You'd probably need about 4 seconds. Hog-to-hog speed. And this one will likely be somewhere around 6.5 seconds between the hog lines for Go Aoki.
Just trying to roll it closer to that other stone. And jams off the back, gets away with it, but rolls out. Split the rings again. Just keep this one away from the other stone.
Yep, you can see that one's on. It just needs to be touching any part of the painted circles from overhead, so the running edge of that stone.
Nicholas Edin, two-time world champ, trying to join the few that have won 3 world championships.
Sundgren and Rana working this one. This one should sit above the tee line. And that might give Japan a chance.
Well, not surprised. We'll see Go Aoki give this one a run.
Yeah, he might want to think about just the hit and roll behind one of the cover, because if he doesn't make the double, a wide open shot for 2 is statistically disastrous for the squad from Japan. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second.
So hit and roll, double, not likely. Try and jump this one over. Little roll in. Look at that. Good effort right to the back of the forefoot.
Yeah, that's a useful shot.
Wow. Nothing like rolling 7 feet to get buried behind.
Wow, that's actually, you know, that's a shot for the game right there. And I don't know if these guys know it. I don't know how much work they've been doing on the stats and crunching the numbers, but if Nicholas Edin scores 2 in the opening end, you have a 9% chance of winning the game. 9% chance of coming back on him.
That's changed now as Nicholas Edin now forced to draw for a single point.
Yeah, this is a huge victory for Team Japan in this first end to force the Olympic silver medalists to take a single point when they have last stone advantage.
Needs to sit on the button, and it uses every little millimeter it needed, so it sits back forefoot for 1. Sweden first on the board here. It is a 1-0 lead for Nicholas Edin. Well, a single point in that first end. Sweden against Japan, our feature game. Christopher Sundgren will get us started here in the second end.
Linjen är bra.
Lite på gränsen.
Oh, it was the hit and roll. That was quite the shot. Go Aoki. Jumps that one over, goes perfectly in behind, and forces Nicholas Edin to draw for his single point. Yutaka Aoyama. They've been mixing up this lineup throughout the week. This is the lineup they've ran out there the most often.
Yeah, this is their original lineup. They have used their fifth or their alternate Koji Nisato to great benefit throughout the week. But Aoyama, he's their go-to guy for this last game of the round robin.
Well, they'd love nothing more better than not even having to win this game. Just go out, be competitive, have a solid game, play well.
I mean, honestly, that shot made in the first end was so significant. We talk about the proficiency of Niklas Edin and Team Sweden's ability to play defense. If they get out ahead of you by just 2 points, they win 91% of their games.
When trying to get that 2 in the first end. Different numbers for Netherlands, obviously, than Niklas Edin and Team Sweden. But yeah, Van Dorp trying to play spoiler here. Is a Russian team that is 5-5. Has a little tap to score 2. And it's been a good run for Netherlands here this week. Last year, just the second time at a World Championship in a long time since they'd been there. He makes the nose hit, scores 2 early against Russia, who come in at 5-5. So Russia in that mix for those final 2 spots that are alive. We know Sweden and Scotland are into the semifinals as the 1 and 2 seeds. Then you have Canada and Norway have qualified. Then it's up in the air for those final 2.
Yeah, there's 6 teams that make the playoffs this season. 1, 2 get a bye to the semifinals. The 3rd seed will play the 6th seed. The 4th seed will play the 5th seed in the quarterfinal games.
Skillnad. Kom in en halvsten längre in, då är det. Ja, så han var tajtare i sättningen också.
Just a little across the face.
Tillagningsspåret kontra garden där. Skiljer en del.
Well, not liking it set up so far. Asking to run this one back in.
Yeah, just open that center line up. Take command of the angles.
We'll look in China, Scotland, and look at all those yellows. As it is Bruce Mowat who has the yellow-red takeout, avoid the jam.
Yeah, and this is a little bit of a risk here for Team Scotland, but the reward is potentially huge. And there you have it. You know what? It's hard to count. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points to hang on the board after the first end. I'd say that 6 points is a pretty high win percentage there. That's the largest score we have seen yet this week by any team.
A great shot. And Bruce Mowat, a world rookie as well, but he does have the world junior experience.
Yeah, Bruce Mowat and Team Scotland do not look like rookies in any way, shape, or form out here.
Genom bara. Fint. Precis igenom. Vänta lite, vänta lite. Ska få den här ner. Nice. Fint.
Well, just trying to jump that one over as we see the coaching bench for Sweden.
Fredrik Lindberg.
Pea making faces at the camera.
And Pea Lindholm. On the bench for Team Sweden.
They end up pushing those ones back, just changing those angles.
Yeah, they do take control of some of the angles now. It's a difficult double takeout. And there's the coach for Japan. It's J.D. Lind.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a chat with them earlier. They had a wild one yesterday against Switzerland. While there was lots of noise in the building, I said, how did the team handle the excitement in the crowd? And said they loved it. It also worked out well that it seemed when it was Switzerland that was throwing, they were getting the cheers. But to experience that environment is good for them. They'll only be better for it. Decisions late in game, maybe he even said maybe we rethink it, but they had
an opportunity for the win there against Switzerland, a team that has playoff hopes. And that stone overcurls a bit. I don't think that got quite the production Japan was looking for. They were looking to change up the angles, move their own rock to the back of the rings, take control in front of the Swedish stones.
Man kan dubbla ganska lätt 2 röda på den träffen, ja. Ja. Så han kan inte göra någonting där. Slå där kan man göra. De här 2, ja, det är ju ganska lätt att försöka slå trippeln då kanske. Råka nudda här så blir det inte så bra om man bara trycker ner den. Nej. Rullar jag av så... Kan ju spela chappen här också. Dubbla. Ja, dubbla, för den kommer ändå ligga kvar. Den tar inte vägen något, och även om den här rör sig lite så... Behöver inte spela ett spett liksom. Man kan spela en... Vad gör han om vi lägger här då? Kan han göra något bra?
Typ inte alltså.
Ja, det kräver väl om man skickar ner garden och får någon typ sån här träff eller något sånt. Okay. Alla 3 kvar i bot. Ja, vi kör den här då. Ja, jag gillar den. Chappen där, dubblar de där. Ja. Då har man marginal liksom och vicka lite inåt så man ändå täcker. Vad sa du? En 7, ja. Så vi får ut båda. 7 och chappa där. Ja.
So Oscar Eriksen comes down, take a look, all the angles.
Ja, kan jag raka. Ja. Hela kom upp på ganska exakt chappen och bäst. Ja. Kan han outen. Komma lite kall här. Ja.
And the lefty gets this run back, takeout going.
Nice.
Flips that back one, removes it. Well done. They really control their weight well.
Nice.
Yeah, just excellent management of the line. Running the Japanese stone into one of their own and holding it in play by taking out another Japanese stone. This man manages the angles of round things, hitting round things as well as anyone in the world.
Well, it's a lonely red one. Now Japan's turn to discuss.
ちょっと開いてもいい別にそれはここに残ればこいつは次ここでずれるから多分ノーマルアップで切れなくてこれが最悪だからあそれ最悪だできればこっちは大丈夫だこっちに置く分には大丈夫もしとりあえずここにステージそうや
Yeah, at this point, Japan needs to do whatever it can to move at least 2 of the Swedish stones out of the control position. You might not be able to move them all the way off the rings, but if you could move them to the back of the house, they could be something that helps you with your next couple of stones.
So Masaki Ai. Try to find a way, keep the shooter in play as well.
Yeah, they like the shooter to sit on top, and that's just really not enough weight for that shot. You actually had to throw much bigger weight to get that center stone moving.
Chap eller gard. Skulle kunna garda.
It did make a little bit of impact.
Ja, det är sant. Ja, sätt tecken då. Ja, vi kan bara cleara den också i och för sig. Vi lägger 3 om vi clearar den. Det kanske är lika bra det. Annars får de stöd ditåt på chappen. Okej, cleara den bara.
Well, up 1-0 could actually really put, you could put a guard up, but peel this out. Seems to be the consensus.
Yeah, and just peel it out, and then there's nothing to catch if Japan were to throw the double. Now, here's where you've got to wonder if Japan can simply make the nose hit, sit right on top. You might force a half shot out of Sweden, and be able to get a second point generated somewhere.
Well, need to hold the shooter, won't be able to. Just, it's not making the most of your shots, being productive there, rolling out.
Yeah, Hawaii knows he needs to hold his shooter there. Going through what happened.
Well, a couple shots in the middle of the end just weren't quite set up where they wanted. Half shots and allow Sweden to control.
So the vice skip, he's holding the target for his skip.
Yep. Hårt! Kom igen, kom igen.
Well, Skip Stones. Rolls big across the rings. Remain lying 4.
Yeah, and Nicholas Edin actually doesn't love where that one rolled. Rolling to the back of the rings, that's something that they may have to navigate. Japan's going to draw a stone in here.
So try and treat that stone top 12 foot as a guard. Go Aoki. Made some circus shots in their game yesterday to get to an extra end. Actually had the hammer in the extra end against Switzerland.
Line looks close. It's all about the weight. They'd like to create as much separation as possible here.
Real good sweep right in behind.
And sit shot stone above the tee line. What pressure? What pressure? Go Aoki. Extraordinary rookie appearance here for the young fourth stones thrower from Japan.
Talked about that stone in the back. Now it makes this more difficult run back.
Yeah, there's no doubt that that's the shot that Team Sweden's going to throw. This is the shot, the kind of shot that made him famous.
I love playing these. Still favors the hit.
And they're not touching it. Is
Will get
not a
fortunate to go through
problem.
the hole. Made a double in the first end earlier today to score 3 against Team Canada. Rode that to a big win. So go Aoki. Just played the same draw. Need the 4 foot for that single point here in the second end. Shikuya. Aoyama. Just guide this one right in, so nicely done. Both skips able to draw the 4 foot for the single point in the first 2 ends. It is a 1-1 game, Japan-Sweden, here in session 19.
Sexa till Gotland, eller? Det var en kul match. Kina har 2 stunga där. Kina har 2 tunga där.
Jämnare vad matchen var mellan oss och Kina efter 2.
7-0. Ah, nice. Båda lagen ligger på tiden. Ja, känns ju som att 4 kan ju lira helt klart. Ja. 2 bra där, en bra vitt. Prova få in något bakom cornern så. Ja. Spela offensivt första halvan av omgångarna liksom, så länge det är jämnt. Så.
We are in Las Vegas, the 361 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. Luke Coley with Ann Swisshelm here. This afternoon, both skips having to draw for a single.
Yeah, this is a really interesting start to the game. A great hit and roll by Team Japan forced Sweden to a single point in that opening end. And then Sweden answers with the run back to force Japan to a single point in the second. And now Sweden's gonna go for it a little bit. They're setting up the corner guard.
They're a team that does well. They get a lead, they can defend.
Kom på den nu. Vi snackade inte. Jag och Ralle hade en som kändes lite.
Get that corner guard in a decent position.
Men båda typ samma eller? Ja, vi tror det.
Look over Korea and Norway going on sheet C.
Norway has already qualified for the playoffs. Korea sits at 5-5. They need a win or two, and they are in the playoffs. The situation facing the skip from Norway, Stefan Valsted. He's got a draw. He needs full 8-foot. And he gets it. Norway goes on the board. They're up 1-0.
Norway trying to get in that 4 seed where they'll get hammered into the qualifying game tomorrow morning. Try and get into the semifinal, win 1 game, and sudden death, anything can happen. There's lots of things that happen within a game. That's the fun of sport as you get into those sudden death. Play the 1 game, do or die.
Nice.
So double takeout and a few stones in there. Facing 2 or possibly 3, looks like just 2 for China they're throwing against, but it was at 6 in the first. That's quite a hill to climb back, especially when you only get 1 right back.
Yeah, and so Deja, the skip for Team China, needs the 8-foot.
They've shown moments where played some really good curling.
Yeah, show and shoot.
Well, they get
drag
it into
that all the way
4-foot.
down with a little help from the man who threw it. It is 1 point on the board for China. And they trail by 5.
And give the hammer back. That's
a tough.
Score 6, force. I think they'll be happy even if they score if you're Scotland.
Kommer fint nu tror jag. 8. Tappa lite. Kör då, kommer fint nu, kommer fint nu. Kom igen, göm den. Tappa.
This game not even in the coming in, you look at the percentages of players, but points for and against, Sweden a +31 And then you have Japan, who has had some below losses. They're at -23. Big number that jumps out. Sweden is 90% force efficiency against their other teams throughout the week.
They just make you take a single point when you've got the hammer.
But look at that run back. As Japan is without the hammer here, they're 37% force efficiency. So teams are scoring multiple points a lot of the time against them.
Yeah, but they're not gonna go easily here for Sweden. What a run back by Shikuya. And now Sweden's gonna change it up a little bit. They'll try the hit and roll here with Rasmus Rana's stone.
Try and get that little roll, goes to the top of the 12-foot. Look over Russia, Netherlands. And there's those 2 yellow Dutch stones on the side of the 8-foot. Alexei Timofeev trying to make the playoffs for the first time ever for Russia at a World Championship.
Yeah, and he needs a bite of the 4-foot here to outcount those 2 Dutch stones. Oh, and Rozabov working that so hard. They've got the line, just they don't have the distance.
So pulls the string, and it's a steal of 2 and a 4-0 hole they've dug themselves. In a game they must win. They got to continue to win. They see other teams that are climbing up. Right now the US 5 and 6, they're starting to roll a little bit. Korea taking on Norway. Those 2 teams are in the mix. Obviously Norway clinching, but Korea at 5 and 5. So important games out there.
Yeah, and here's our standings. You can take a look. Korea's got another game tonight, and so does Russia. They need to win 1, and if they win 2, they control their own destiny.
Yeah, we know those top 2 teams. They're tied for first. If Sweden wins, they get 1. They'll be straight into the semifinal. Canada's in that 3 spot. Pretty much locked in there.
Lite dämpad. Rent, ja. Rent.
Trying to hit and use that corner guard is Sweden. Rolls just out the other side a little bit.
Yeah, but that rolls to a tricky spot on this ice. We've seen on this sheet, this is the board side along where the fans sit. This spot can be a little bit straight. Japan needs to be careful when they manage this. You throw a little bit of up weight, that rock will run on you. You could miss it entirely on the wide side. And then if you get a little down and you catch the late movement on the sheet, you can wreck on the corner guard.
Nothing laid to this one the entire way down.
But they get it and they hang on the outside of the rings. Great throw from Iwai.
Här på.
Har jag ett försök till om vi...
Tror vi farten här då, alltså. Ralle sackar en del ändå. Ja, exakt.
Plan to draw around the corner guard for Sweden.
80-ish.
That's Oscar Eriksen. Try and hook this one around.
Bra linje tror jag. Den här på linjen. Lite tight. Ja, Ralle. 8-4. Lite tight. 8.
Get a look at the hog-to-hog time.
Okej, lugnt. Okej. 4, nästan. Stanna nu. 4.
We've seen 14-5 sort of be that average time. 14-2 is pretty good with not much sweeping. Right into the side of the 4-foot.
Great throw from Oscar Eriksen.
Det var inte riktigt samma dyk. Nej.
Sweden just trying to find a way, pick away, get their deuce.
ドローよりそっちの方がいい。あ、でもワン取れないからどうしても。1点 OK ならね、まあ前からどっちもいいと思うんですけど。別に1点も2点も変わらない。今のうちにトップ投げておけばね。膝がね、悲鳴を上げ続ける。あ、それもありよ。どっちでもいいと思うよ。 きな方どっちが痛いオッケー
So after he gets the hack, he decides, I like how the run back looks.
Yes, 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 yes.
Well, that's
Yes.
the plan here.
Go. Yes.
Made great shots in the first two ends. Not there, goes over the top, so a miss. And an opening for Sweden. Could this be the first deuce of the game?
Yeah, it's looking good for Sweden to score 2. And now there's no guard in place to help Japan should they need it. And just a bit of an oversweep there.
At that weight, not going to do a whole lot of curling. Not much time to come down the ice. Niklas Edin will draw to the open side.
And he threw this exact same draw in the first end of the game. Team Sweden should know how to manage this, where to set the target, what kind of slide speed they need.
They want to get it even with the other one. Pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I'd say that's pretty good.
Splitting hairs with those. Leave those 2 yellow in the rings. The third end of this 19th session. 20 sessions with the 13-team field.
Each team playing 12 games in the full round robin. You play 12 games to figure out which 6 teams get to play a couple or more.
Yes, yes. Yes. Whoa. Yes, yes.
While trying to roll over in behind.
And just trying to stay shot, tucked behind the Swedish stone.
Well, they gave it a valid effort to give that one to get it behind it.
Vilken har vi bäst koll på, out eller in där? Jag drog ju out, men det borde vara.
Jag tror det glider lite bättre på out.
Okej, ta en out igen.
Men det är lite... Jag tror det snabbaste spåren var där.
So deciding which turn they decide to go with the out turn or the counterclockwise rotation.
Yeah, so they're gonna draw to the fat part of the rings. So you're gonna draw towards the center line where it's a full 12 feet in distance worth of space. Sweden needs full 12 foot to count for their second point.
Just guiding this one in, not a problem for Sweden. Hit and come around, the missed run, and that leads to the deuce for Sweden. First one of the game, and it's 3-1 after 3.
14-4, lite segare där. 14-6 fick ni den, var väl lite mer sopar än kanske?
Ja, lite grann. Jag tror det är lite snabbare dit. Gachi 来てるもん。いやでもタップで開いたら怖いから、まあ、やるんだったらフリーズぐらいだったけどね、前に置いて、まあ、次みたいな感じだったけど、いいんじゃない別に、
まあ、開いてロールされてまた頑張ってって3点目はやだもん、
まあ、1点取るか1点でもまずはフランクするかやだね、スチールダメ、スチールダメ、1点 OK、フランク OK、2点もっと OK、悪くないまずはついてるとかね、後半の勝負だね。
Well, the bright lights here inside the Orleans Arena. Of course, lots of that outside here in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. It's the 3-6-1 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. Luke Coley here with Ann Swisshelm, and we have the first deuce of the game in Japan. Now they got to try and answer it right back.
Yeah, Japan's going to need to take some risks here, setting up their score of 2. They had a little bit of difficulty with rock placement the last time they had hammer, but they did get out of danger with draw to the forefoot by their skip. And trouble starts right away for Japan. Christopher Sundgren's rock goes right to the top of the forefoot, and Yutaka Aoyama having a wonderful tournament, playing overall at 86%. Needs to set up a perfect corner guard.
How much as a player are you looking personally at this as well? Obviously, the team results was the most important thing, but you see yourself playing well. Is that something you take away from it?
Yeah, but tracking the statistical accuracy really helps give you hard data on where you're performing well, what kind of shots are you're really good at, and now you can see here what kind of shots are Christopher Sundgren good at. Well, it's all of them. He's playing at 91%. He's one of the top performing leads in the field.
His low game 85%.
Yeah, that is so steady. And for Sweden, the kind of confidence that that gives you, that when you go to set up your ends and build your tactical game plans, you know you can count on this man to put you in a good position right from the get-go. Aoyama's first guard sat a little tight to the center line, didn't get as much curl that they needed, and they've got to go around the wide side of the center line guard.
Freeze right on top, just a little bump.
That is a great shot.
Shot for shot so far. Here's where this Swedish team has shown all week how good they are, and this is the defense.
Yeah, they know beautifully when to bail, when to keep pushing for offense.
Well, Rasmus Vrana.
He's going to play the angle slash. Just hits a hair on the wide side.
See a little grin. Playing probably a little bit looser than they might, knowing they're playing a team below them, lower in the standing, a rookie team. You have coming off a big win against Team Canada. May let your guard down just a little bit.
Well, I did get to talk to Team Sweden's coach just before this game, Fredrik Lindberg, and I asked, you know, what kind of goals do they have? What kind of expectations do they have for this game? And Fredrik very coolly and confidently said, our goals are the same as they always are. We're going to win this game. So they're trying not to have any letdown after the big win over the reigning world champions. So Japan sitting 1 and 2. Sweden's got to play a little bit of cleanup here.
Like this run back. Rasmus at 88%.
And he gets one and removes everything in front of the rings. It's so early in the end, but Japan's going to go with a kind of basic tactical choice here. They could throw a corner guard, put another guard up on top of their shot rock, but they're choosing to split the rings with their second stone here. It's vital that this stone stay in play. And they want to do what Sweden had done, and that's sit directly across, absolutely level in the rings. And who needs sweepers? Not Shikuya.
Well, Scotland and China, find out if they need them. As we see, Bruce Mowat and his team that'll be into the semifinal scored 6 in the first. And he's had a whale of a tournament, 83% so far for himself, drawing for a single point. Just to extend their lead in the third. Get that 6-point lead back. And no problem, right in for the single point. So 7-1 Scotland leads. And a uncharacteristic miss by Sweden.
Yeah, and that's that spot in the ice. That is a tricky, tricky spot. I would not have expected Sweden to get caught by it. We talked about it for Team Japan. It's that board side hit. It's just been a little snaky, a little unique of a path. Now Japan, they're like, where can we put a rock that protects our score of 2? And
well, they decide there we'll look in Korea, Norway. As Koreans skip Kim Chang-min. Trying the angle raise into the house. Opportunity for 2. Nothing from sweepers or Kim. Right by everything. And it is a steal of 1 for Norway and a 2-0 lead. Again, Korea, 5-5. They need to win.
yeah, and on our feature sheet, Masaki Iwai, he has elected to draw it near the center of the house, and I am worried for Japan. This rock needs to be in the rings. It needs, oh, and it just comes up short.
The unforced error. So miss right back by Japan.
Yeah, and such an opportunity. And now Sweden will have their sharpshooting third, try and make up for the errant stone on his first. He's looking for a hit and a roll. They'd love to roll as far over in the rings as possible.
Oh, hit. Can you use that guard to your advantage?
Lite utsatt på den där liksom, men jag tänkte att det skulle behövas liksom.
Jag tycker det är att typ vingarna curlar, men sen är det fan ganska jämnt ändå. Inte jättemycket curl ut, men det är inte... De här takarna går väl lite rakare. Nästan på träff, men jag kan tänka mig att de här inte heller sticker iväg liksom.
So Masaki trying to just roll this one back out to the outside. 76%, so a big gap between the 2/3.
Yeah, that's a huge gap, that performance gap, but that's what you're talking about. From the top of the field down towards the bottom, that kind of execution is what's necessary.
Well, and they can't get by that guard. Didn't need to be a factor. So 2 mistakes from Hawaii. Here's a look at all the scores here. Session 19, we're on sheet 8. It's 3-1 Sweden leading. 7-1 Scotland leads China after 6 in the first. That's in the fourth end. 2-0 Norway over Korea, and 4-1 for Netherlands over Russia. Russia getting on the board in that third end.
Yeah, this is a disappointing lost opportunity for Japan. They got the unexpected miss out of Oscar Eriksen, and they needed to capitalize on it.
Lite mindre bara.
89%.
That's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's all right.
Hårt! Hårt!
Last stone thrower.
Hårt!
And we'll hit and stick as we'll slide over and see Scotland and China.
Yeah, Scotland sits 1 and 2, continuing their dominance in this game, forcing Team China and their skip, Zot Deja, into a draw. He needs full 8 foot to hang a second point on the board in this game. Show and Shu, his front end sweeping so hard. It's a coast-to-coast sweep. Now they're starting to clean it. The weight looks pretty good. And it's pretty perfect. China takes a second point.
It's a long way back when you're just scoring ones.
Yeah, they're going to need to do something other than that. But China is a second half team. If they can get to that second half, they've got a chance.
Well, the hit. We'll clip that back one, but roll out. So clips the back one. It's out of play. Free run to use this guard for Nicholas Edin and get a force.
Yeah, and there's Go Aoki's accuracy numbers. He's at 73%. And that's, again, another pretty significant gap between the players at the fourth stones. And it's actually really what you would expect, but this is all about Go Aoki learning how to be here, learning how to play in front of a crowd and on championship ice.
Han har lite för linje, Klippa. Synen är bra.
Helst inte.
Den är
Känns bak 4. Bak 4. Bak 8.
Eka.
Bak 4.
Risk att den tittar ut, men inget vi kan göra.
Stann bak 8.
Well, looking to go around that guard. Goes back of the 8 foot. Does it come out the other side? Or is it good enough to force the draw for one?
I think it's good enough to force the draw for one. It is completely hidden underneath that errant stone in the top of the house. So Aoki
Forced again to just take the single point.
Yeah.
Got no problem. Right into the 4 foot. So single point for Japan. 3-2 game. Sweden leading Japan. And we'll get the hammer back as we come back for the 5th end of this game. Well, back inside for session 19. Second to last round robin session here at this year's 361 World Men's Curling Championship. Japan 2 singles, Sweden a single, 1 force. Now we play N5, and how hard does Japan go at it? Put the centerline guard up here. Yutaka Aoyama. Get us going.
And he's putting rocks in great positions. He really is. Japan had an outstanding opportunity to put that crooked number up on the board. And just, some missed shots by their skip, who throws the third position. Took them out of the end. Created a situation where they were forced to a single.
Well, they got misses from their opponent, which you're not going to get a lot of misses from this Swedish team.
No, you're not. And you've got to follow a miss with a make.
Nästan 3-6-1.
Ja, lite mjukare satt då. 14-6. Ja, det är bra. Ska vi på rundaren direkt nu.
Corner guard in play, first stone in. We'll look over Netherlands, Russia. Netherlands trying to play spoiler, coming in a 3-7 record. Jaap van Dorp.
Yeah, he needs to hit and roll. Russia is sitting count 1 and 2 in the 8-foot. He might be going for a crosshouse double. There's lots of possibility there. But he makes the hit, makes the roll, and gets the single point. It's 5-1 in favor of the Dutch.
Yeah, and that's a big advantage. And that one slides in for Aoyama, who's trying to get that as a centerline guard. The simpler these ends are, the better for Niklas Edin.
Linjen är bra. Bra linje. Bra fart. Ja, linje. Bara för linje. Hårt, linje! Järnet!
Oh, so this is a moment. So here you have it. That is maybe the only miss you'll get from Sweden in the entire end. Japan has got to capitalize. So Ryotaro Shikuya looking for the hit and the roll. Aoyama working to hold the line on this one.
Well, you want to get Sweden chasing rules just to the outside of the 4-foot.
But not a terrible position. Sweden's going to ignore that. They're still going to try and activate this corner guard. This is bold. They will do what they can. They'll try and make the double, but they are also going to think about rolling the rock right here in Rasmus Rana's hand underneath the corner guard. Now his rocks have been running a little bit straighter. They've hit on the wide side a couple of times. It happens again, but you know what? He makes the double.
That's the backup double.
Yeah, that's the backup double. And this is maybe a little defensive right here. I know it's dangerous to leave the corner guard out there, but you've got a rock in top of the 4-foot. It's still second stones. It's an away end. Forcing Sweden to a single point here, if you could ever do it, would be great. But that's going to require a centerline guard.
Hoping to maybe roll to one. But rolls out.
Oh, and
spins
grabs.
back.
Sharp edge and sharp pebble on the side of the rings. Shikuya's running stone spins back into the rings. And we peek in on sheet C. Norway up 2-0 on Team Korea.
Is that a double they're trying to size up?
I think it might just be a hit and roll for 2.
Yes, it is second shot. The back of the 8-foot for Korea.
They do have to navigate their own stone in the back of the rings. Kim Chang-min.
Yep. No. Clean. Yep. Yes. Hard. Hard. Give up. Hard. Hard. Clean.
Well, the hit, little roll, avoid the jam. We are all square now on sheet C. Korea gets the 2 points against Norway, so 2-2 after 4. And Korea 5-5, Norway 7-4. Korea plays now against Norway, then they get Russia later today.
And that game against Russia could be for a spot in the playoffs.
Känner mer för andra handen. Jag tror där då. Han ser bra ut.
Well, here just trading hits after the removal of that guard. I don't think Nicholas Sedin minds. He'll blank 5, get the hammer into 6.
And the roll to the outside. Yeah, that is very good. Maybe not exactly how they called it, but that works out near perfectly.
The roll in tough to avoid the jam. Peel it out. Leave the hit of that one.
You've got to go hard for the roll here. But you can't afford to miss that Swedish stone.
Masaki Iwai. Make this without touching those back stone.
And he ends up with hitting on the wide side of the stone. And the running rock going into the boards and out of play.
Opens up this lone stone that's in play for Oscar Eriksen. And just like that, that'll hit, roll off to the side.
I'm not sure.
We'll slide over as well. Look at Scotland, China. Scotland got that 6 in the first. They just want to avoid steals at this point of the game. Facing 2 Chinese stones, though.
Yeah, and China's got a little something going here, but Bruce Mowatt's got a short double takeout. And Hammy McMillan's holding the line. Oh, and they don't get it.
Little life for China, now 7-3 after 5 ends of play. It's a long way back, but trying to hang tight.
Yeah, that's how you do it. 1 point at a time.
So nothing in play. The draw to the top of the button.
Great opportunity for Hawaii to practice that draw weight, get comfortable with the speed of the ice. the line of the ice.
Ja, ja, ja.
Håll igång. Ja, Kalle.
Ja, 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 ja. Hårt. En. Ja, ja.
Well, just a little outside flip. Go Aoki. Play the hit now and setting up for a blank fifth end.
Yes, 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 yes. Bring.
Why not roll back to the button just for kicks?
I'll make it a longer way to roll out.
With the pace that this stone has, the rings are very small for Nicodine. It's going to be an easy roll out. Smash and go.
So it'll remain a 3-2 game. Sweden leading Japan from Las Vegas. Well, the first end, a deuce lurking for Sweden. They got those 2 yellow stones in the rings. Go Aoki without the hammer. Big weight. Hit. Jumping across. Roll right over. Right over to the side of the forefoot. And is that any good? Right in behind. That forces Nicholas Edin to draw. Not just full forefoot, but piece of button to get a single point to start this game.
Linjen är lugn. Fri dragning.
They just guide this one in right to the forefoot. And it stops hanging on to the back of the button for 1 to start off the game.
Jag försöker lägga en 85 till då. Lite trögare här.
Well, after already lying 1, Aoki couldn't make the hit and roll behind. Leaves the open draw for the second point for Sweden. The first deuce of the game. Fourth end after come around to that one back 8 foot. Now in turn draw, go Aoki. Pick up a single point, cut into the lead. And very nice, right in there for Japan. And it is a 3-2 game after 5 ends of play. Other scores here in session 19. Sweden leads Japan 3-2. Scotland up, still controlling against China 7-3. Norway, Korea 2-2. And Russia, Netherlands 5-1. Netherlands in the lead.
Klart för Eriksen med en flash från avrull. Det är Nicol som motar så han har väl drar en 54 nästan matchen.
Vi spelar ju på den där tunnticken för att få forcen. Det är det de inte.
Det är lite från Patrik 50 på ringtiring.
Så får man alltid på avrull.
And looking at the statistics, it holds pretty true to the scoreline, but Japan is absolutely hanging tough with the front-running Team Sweden. It's a well-played game. It'll be a great second half.
Well, that's the trophy all the teams here are playing for, the World Championship in Las Vegas, the first time taking part here in this neck of the woods. They've had 3 Continental Cups of curling, and this is the first time the Worlds have come here. As we see, we are on sheet A, the 4 sheets in play. 3-2, that blank in the 5th end means Sweden has the hammer now in the even ends with a 1-point lead.
Yeah, so that means, you know, all things holding equal, Sweden will have the hammer 3 times to Japan's 2 in this second half of the game in 6, 8, and 10. And really having an awesome final game here is Yutaka Aoyama.
ちょっとありそうだな。
And this 6th end, the ice gets a little bit quicker. It's after the break. The Icemen run the mops. Sometimes you think the surface might cool down a little bit with the lack of play. That rock is a good rock, but it slips maybe a foot too deep on Team Japan.
As we see, Kristoffer Sundgren, 95%. Just the usual stellar numbers from the Swedish lead.
Yeah, he had one kind of half shot in the last end.
15-2. 15-3, ja. Lutar ju lite, men fan.
Tänk att det inte ska ge hur mycket som helst.
So they'll go to work trying to use that corner guard. After that first stone into the top of the house. Aoyama actually slid in last end to the house. He wants this one out in front.
Absolutely. Japan is going to do everything they can to set up the steal this end. That rock needs to come to a stop, and it slips in the rings again.
Half a rock too deep as we'll slide over Russia, Netherlands, and the Netherlands continuing to put the pressure on Russia. Can't get any offense mounted. Alexei Timofeev to draw for a single point.
And Klimov and Razabov brushing this in.
Right to the forefoot. Nicely done for them to get the 1. Got to try and stay in this one. Down 5-2, knowing they need to keep winning there. 5-5. Russia's never finished better than 10th at a World Championship. They're going to do better than that this year.
Yeah, and doing better than his tournament average. Ryotaro Shikuya. He's at 90% for the day.
And another one into the rings. Thought they might try and put that guard back out in front. 2 into the forefoot.
Trycka till hack, eller? Trycka till hack. Hack. Ja, kör.
Peppel och stanna här.
Jag sätter vilken om ni hellre vill. Nej, det är mer att trycka ut den bakre.
Solid hack där.
See Rasmus Vrana, 83%, lower than his tournament numbers here in this game. Couple of missed runbacks. those you missed by a few millimeters, and it's
Yeah, a few millimeters on the wide side, and you're at the dreaded 83%, which a little sarcasm from me there. It's a pretty great game for Rana.
won't be happy there. Is hoping to keep their stone in front of those that red stone.
Yeah, just take advantage of the angles. You always want to control the angles, and it's about using your opposition stones to hold you on the rings in that situation.
Okay.
Well, right on the nose.
10-4 där på den. Vanlig 10.
Still trying to use that corner guard, just a little hit and flop to the wing.
Bra fart. Vänta, nej, in out den här.
And they're right off on this one.
Wrong side of that one, trying to make the roll. They
Yeah,
roll right out.
That is the way that Rasmus's rocks have been running. They're running a bit straighter. Nicholas Edin might want to tighten up the ice for his second. Get those sweepers involved, because they really haven't been participating on Rana's shots at all. Now it's time to shift gears. Masaki Iwai really struggling this game. We saw the missed shots in the fourth end. Well, that's going to help his numbers a bit. That's a great placed guard.
And it's a well set up that you decide to play that guard. You know that they can come around and play it at the stone in the rings. But let's go on the, as you said, change gears. Let's go after it right now. Oscars went a little bit lower, 75%.
Yeah, just a slight dip in performance. We saw that absolutely missed hit, and
when they touch the guard.
Again, just a mismanagement on the line there. It does hang around to bite the back of the rings. And now Nicholas is going to be looking at a bit of a complicated situation here in the sixth end.
Really coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, and that was really just a little bit of execution out of the Japanese third stones. Led to good news for Team Japan and a challenging situation for Sweden.
See how Japan manages this to try and close in the rings.
They want a little separation. They don't want to lock those right on top of each other, because then that makes the run takeout so much easier for Sweden. That separation is great news. Potentially, some of the momentum will be taken off these stones as they are run through by Oscar Eriksen.
Needs to make contact with one of them.
And on the wide side, clips their stone off the back of the rings.
This has not been a sharp sixth end from Sweden's perspective.
Yeah, so that mental letdown might be happening.
4-1。いや、もう全然、いや、ホグどころか2は行く。マジ早い。ちょっとね、やっぱ最初全然帰ってこないから、ちょっと気をつけて。トレーニングぐらいは。飽きすぎて外行くとマジで帰ってこない。わかった、オッケー。ちょっと幅外のこっちあるから。オッケー。待って大丈夫。
See, go Aoki.
4秒ぴったり。
His numbers better than his tournament average. Oh, and there's a missed guard, though. You have it all set up and fail to protect those two.
You know, quite frankly, Go Aoki hasn't thrown many of those during this championship. The crosshouse doubles, automatic, and the draws against points, automatic. The guard, a little bit of a struggle.
Look over Scotland, China, and a one buried behind the corner guard for China, forcing Scotland. Just make sure you score here. Steal in the fifth end, make it 7-3. Has to get this one into the 8 foot in order to get a single point.
Yeah, this is a relatively routine shot for a skip and a high-performing skip. Bruce Mowat and boy, Bobby Lammy and Hammy McMillan on this stone right away. They're trying to drag this as far as they can.
Did he pull the string here and give up a second straight steal? It is, so 7-4 now. China hanging around.
Inching their way back from that score of 6 in the first.
Well, through the hole, the double was made by Sweden. Well, it is in the open. There is access to this. Nicholas Edin, 93% on the game.
There's no letdown for this guy.
Right through the hole, pick it out, get the blank. A little bit of a sloppy end from both sides, but it results in a second straight blank. It remains 3-2. Sweden leads Japan here in session 19.
はい、もう一回同じだ。あと7、8、90全部やんないとダメだね。1点追いついて1点スチって1点スチって1点スチればまあぶっ込んで6-3で勝てる。ガードしてくるから。いやでももうちょっと取りたいよ。これ打ってこられたら結構厳しくない？別に8で取ればいい。そうするとガードがいいと思う。
相手は多分ブランクにしたいと思うんだけど、8で取りに来るんですよ。多分今こうやって。
Well, welcome back to our continuing coverage. 361 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. Luke Coley here with Ann Swisshelm, and it was a sloppy sixth end. Misses from both sides, going both ways, and we'll see if Sweden can sort of try and do what they've done so well this event and scoring multiple points.
Yeah, Sweden's having an uncharacteristic kind of slump in the middle of the lineup. They're not getting the normal production out of Rasmus Rana at second and Oscar Eriksen at third. And it's why the scoreline is so tight. And we finally got a change in tactics here. We've got a center line guard up, and Sweden's going to come right around. Christopher Sundgren, a master of this shot.
Because the guard is halfway, just top 8 foot, maybe bite top 4.
And you saw where Skip's brush was resting, and his rock gets almost to that spot perfectly.
Trying to get it just around now. Great sweep to get this
Wow,
one right to the button in behind.
Shot.
Look over Netherlands and Russia.
Oh, and Jaap van Dorp and the Dutchman are up against it. Russia staggered at the top of the 12-foot, staggered in the 4-foot.
What was said in that fifth end break? The Russia's come out.
Well, Russia's goals were clear. It's get rocks in play, and they have done so successfully and forced Jaap van Dorp, the skip from the Netherlands, into a difficult little touch shot.
Gotta be careful, can't touch the top ones. Come to the nose basically to cut the steel to 1. Chips off of it and roll to the side, and it does do just that. So just a steal of 1. That's a pretty successful shot if you're Jaap van Dorp. 5-3 now, Denmark, or Netherlands, over Russia.
And we've got some precision rock placement happening in our feature game. Talk about staggered setups. There's a couple of them.
Well, with last rock, Rasmus, run this or just straight peel?
He's running this, and you know, the acceptable or pro side is to peel it right off, and he does.
So stagger those, causing the problems for them.
Det känns som om det ligger kvar så med dig gillar jag att dra en till topp 8 där. Pressar rejält.
Does Japan do enough with that guard? Does it block off enough of the angle? Sweden thinks they might be able to get to the stone in the 12-foot.
Vanlig 11. Den här kommer ju inte gå ut, men den kommer ju ut till ett ställe där vi kan använda den också. 11-0, ja, kanske. 11. 11-0. Ja. Röd kommer nog inte gå ut, men ta den här och rycka upp på kanten.
Redstone just shot stone. We'll look in Korea, Norway 2-2. Marcus Højberg lining up for this angle raise for 2. Stefan Valstead, this Norwegian team, they're into the playoffs. Love to try and get a medal, try and get some funding after not medaling at the Olympics or last season at the World Championship. Trying to angle this one in. Yellow, right to it, stick it. Great shot. Angle raise for 2. That's a pistol from Valstead. Go up 4-2.
And on our feature sheet, Rasmus Rana's challenges continue here. Didn't get around the centerline guard. Just ticked a little bit.
It's one of those worst case scenarios. Well, side by each.
Yeah, so the guards are up there. It's not the ideal setup. I think both those guards will go if Switzerland touches half.
Det börjar bli lite svårt att få bort den dock, men... Ja, jag har 3 sten kvar. Dubbla de här garderna så har vi den av dragningen eller splitta upp och sen. Så eller? Ja. Dubbla garderna nu så...
And after a missed hit by China, Scotland is for sure going to hang another point on the board. It will not be a steal this end. Bruce Mowat and squad would love for it to be 2 points.
They got that 6. You see him behind him. Draw for the second point. So Scotland trying to guide this one in. This would make it a 9-4 game. And that is enough for China, as China in their last game will surrender and concede defeat. They're 9-4 in the losing end to Scotland. So Scotland will finish round robin 11-1. Wait to see what happens here in our game, whether they're the 1 seed or the 2 seed. They know they're playing in a semifinal tomorrow at the World Championship.
Yep, that makes this game all the more important for Sweden. And Sweden got the double peel, rolled their shooter to the side of the field of play.
Well, continuing to guard up. There's those stagger in the house. Now seeing the play being made to try and come into the house.
Nej. Kan jag spela någon fart, typ en... Har jag större chans att stanna kvar än vad min slagsten än vad 4 är. Typ en normal eller något sånt. Eller en 8 kanske.
Tveksamt alltså.
8 tar ganska tunt och bara snärta ner den någonstans.
Den gillar jag. Jag tror det är väldigt svårt med
8 och så
normal
bara...
om du smiter så du inte ligger man kvar, men då tror jag den är kvar också.
Ja.
8 träffar tunt, snärta ner den här bara.
Jag hoppas på att det är ganska tunt på den gula som ligger där. Ja, då har jag kvar den.
Mycket is vill ha.
So this is a lefty access. So this is from the other hack. Oscar has a little bit better access at this shot than every other player in this field of play, as he's the only lefty out there.
Well, by the guard. Spin that one back.
I think they were hoping to leave one of those yellow rocks around, biting in the edge of the rings, but does change up the angles.
Well, if they could have held this a little bit more, maybe a little bit of drag and just clipped it a bit.
Yeah, I think they hit too much, actually, of the Japanese stone. They were hoping to hit a little less and just push with the Swedish stone back by the tee line.
Det är inte supersvårt, men det är liksom ändå lite...
いや、それでここで簡単に2点取られちゃうんだよね。ここをガードするともうこのランバックラインがなくなっちゃう。ランバックしかなくなっちゃうから。
赤はあんでしょ。
でもここ黄色1でもいいんだよ別に。だったらここ置いて、でもし押されても次うちらで押し返せば。
ここ置いとけば、どうにかなるからね。半分以上隠せればね。
それピールされたら。
そんなここ曲がって強いウェイトで来ないと思うよ。
これだけ見えてるから。これだけピールされたらねやばい。ああ。ここまで冷たいんだよ。ここ置いときゃさ別にこれだけ死んで。次は。ここまでくっつけたいねできればね。いやここくっつけた方がいいよ。これピールされても別にもう一回押せば自分がここでワンツーで持てるから。やばいんでもこれでハックとかでやられちゃうの怖いからね。割られてもじゃない。別にここに広がる分には。
It looks like it is that redstone that is shot.
ハックぐらいは多分ここまで押せられたらこっちからここでボン。若干タップはありで。で相手もしガードしてきたらこっちガードしてきて一定やってもいいし。
We'll know based on this next shot. If they throw the guard, they think they're shot. If they come into the house, they're not.
Obviously, we'll need to make a play if they aren't shots. Don't go Aoki.
ちょっと待ちたいよ。ラインはいいよ。いいよ。ちょっと待ちたいよ。ラインちょっと入って、ライン入って。ラインです。ウェイトどこまで？どこまで？6。6。ラインです。ラインです。6。7。
Wants to just look like protect this one, but it's gonna come down, just sit in the top of the 8-foot. Is Sweden with the hammer. We've had 2 consecutive blank ends.
And this stone just warping across the field of play, absolutely curling so much.
Yes, to the point where you're not even sure what to do with it at that point.
Ja, det kommer inte
Yeah,
bli lika
there's
mycket action i
there's
den
no
heller.
good options.
Ja, typ samma fart som mig neråt då. Den var ju precis igenom.
Ja. Mitt 8 kanske. Lite mindre.
Är det mitt 8?
Försöka komma lite insida och tappa isär det lite. Vi kan ju rulla in båda helgömda. Då har vi jäkligt svårt att inte tappa tvåan. Lite utsida, då får vi inte mycket träff på den bakre. Vi behöver minst chapp liksom. Så bak 8 chapp till fart igenom.
So it's an opportunity for Sweden to
lite
be
mindre ändå.
for certain shot stone. Nicholas Edin gets this counterclockwise rotating tap. He's going to try and move the Japanese stone off the back of the button. Just nudge his stone onto it.
Just get by. Move it ever so slightly. Wow, gets a little roll underneath.
Oh, and just like that, tons of pressure on Go Aoki for his last stone.
Get a good look of Rasmus Vrana in behind, almost upright, leaning on that broom.
He is such a powerful sweeper. All of that body weight on top of the brush, holding that as straight as possible. You could see that. Look up on his toes. That is such force over the brush head. Great sweep for Rana.
But does where Japan went with their first actually help them now?
Yeah, interestingly, there may be something they can use there. It's definitely not automatic. There's some drag, there's some kind of heavy bounce that's happening with these stones here at the World Championship. Absolutely, you know, imperturbed with the loss of time, the use of the time clock.
A long discussion. The man that's actually throwing the stones already went down to the other end. Just that different dynamic with a team with a fourth stone thrower that doesn't call the game.
Yeah, and Go, he's down here in the hack. Just let me know, guys. I'll throw it. And it ends up being the draw. This is a very tough shot. Waiting for line. His last stone warped in there so hard. And this one starts to go. They've got to hold this. They've got to get it down. They need not only weight, but they've got to have the angle. Oh, they just lost that one.
Just comes up short. They have it surrounded, and now the 4-foot draw. Bring that third point into play.
Opportunity lost here for Japan.
Yeah, and really an unassuming one where had all those guards, those stones staggered in there in good position, and Oscar Eriksen actually opening it up, left those positioning that they could make a play, and now a shot at 3. Seemed like an unassuming shot.
Yeah, it ended up being crucial to the success of Team Sweden this end. They lie 1 and 2. They need a piece of the 4-foot for a third point here in the 7th end.
Jalin kommer.
Going out wide. Sundgren,
Det är bra ut.
Vrana on the Nicholas's first, a great sweep.
Har rygg. Den är på väg chatt mot den.
Draws down into the forefoot, gets the third point, and second crooked number by Sweden put up. Took a while. They took a couple blank ends, but they get 3, double their score, up 6-2 after 7.
Där kanske någon har dragit på 85 tidigare. Lite mera krisp i släppen. Mamma, kör bara.
あれ以上でも幅取れないでしょ。
あんまり。いや、ウェイトが最初入ったけど。
まず音痴はやめてほしいな。
一人違うやつ。
とりあえずまず音を外すのを直しましょう。もうちょっと高音だし。
トシは追いついたでしょ。トシは追いついたでしょ。ガチ。本当だ。
Well, we are in the Orleans Arena. Luke Coley and Swiss Elm, the 361 World Men's Curling Championship, are continuing coverage. We are on sheet A, Sweden versus Japan, and Sweden cracks that big 3. Took a while to get to that point, but an unassuming end. Actually, great shot by Nicholas Edin.
Yeah, the setup shot on his first, the little delicate tap, repositioning, ownership of the angles, and it was driven by Rasmus Rana's brush head. Absolute power sweep all the way down the ice, holding the line, creating the tap, and pressure proved too much for Team Japan, and they gave up a 3.
2-3 2 1半2だよ2
So wanting to get these guards in position.
And they need to get that guard off a little further to the side. That stone is creating some problems because there's no there's no access to the draw.
Christopher Sundgren won't be able to pad his stats. That'll be a not considered stone, throwing that one through.
Yeah, it's a pretty big lead they've got now.
95% Aoyama, 93 for Christopher Sundgren. Great playing by both leads in this game.
Okay.
そこ多分ウェイト落ちるんじゃない？3 Schmack! Vilka inbiter.
Well played, those 2 corner guards. Look over. Russia starting to turn it on a little bit, realizing they don't want to let a playoff position slip out of their grasp. Jaap van Dorp facing multiple stones again, trying to play a double. Man won't be able to get past the guard. And just like that, a tie game, steal a 2, 5-5 after 7, Russia, Netherlands. Meanwhile, our game, 1 corner guard disappears on the peel by Vrana.
Well, now Japan gonna spend a little time out in front of the rings trying to set up an opportunity to take 2 points. And you got to be patient. You've got to wait. And unfortunately, this stone slipping in the rings not going to help Japan's cause too much.
We'll look at the comparison of seconds. Shikuya 86 to Vrana at 75.
Yeah, Shikuya is having a great game, but it comes down to not exactly how many shots you make. It is when you make them.
Which ones? And if you make back-to-back shots too, that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
As they'll peel the corner off. The thing is, it's when you make both your shots. Nicholas Dean made both of his shots last end, but combined with a miss by Aoki,
yeah,
3.
It's 3 shots. And 3 points on the board. And that's how it happens.
Sweden knows they are a team doesn't have to score a lot, just be efficient with the hammer. They play defense very well.
They defend as well as any team I've ever seen. They really limit their opposition's ability to score points.
This will be a real good learning experience for this Japanese team to look back on after this event. So it comes down trying to freeze to that top one. Look at the other scores. Of course, 6-2, our feature game on sheet 8. Scotland defeats China 9-4. Well, Norway up 4-2 in the 8th against Korea. And 5-5 Russia, Netherlands on sheet D. Scotland is all done their round robin. They finish 11-1. Their one loss coming to this Sweden team.
Yeah, and the way that the Japanese stone was just placed, the double's real tough here for Sweden, if not impossible. So they're just trying to hit and roll towards the center of the rings, group those stones together.
Well, this is where we sit for the standings. Scotland, Sweden are into the semis. Canada is in the 3 spot. Norway right behind them at 7-4. Then Switzerland 6-5 off this draw. Korea and Russia 5-5 in action. And then the US 5-6. They'll play Switzerland in the last game. That's 7 teams, so one of those teams will be out. Italy eliminated from playoffs along with Netherlands, Japan, China, and Germany.
Yeah, and Germany has sewn up the dreaded last spot in the standings. And with these new rules, that means that the European zone actually loses an automatic spot at next year's Worlds. The spot is still available to the European zone, but they've got to come through a world qualification event now. And it's a change in the system. And Japan having another significant team discussion. They see that this is a pretty good opportunity to score maybe a couple of points, and you can see, you know, there's that thinking time. Remember, they started with 38 minutes, and the clock runs while you're thinking. Japan's got 8 minutes to play the rest of this end and possibly 2 more.
They do have the 1 timeout, but you can only use that 1 time, and it's your coach to come down.
Yeah, and ideally you'll have at least 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes per end in order for it to be comfortable, so that you are not rushing around. And Japan is on the edge of danger here. They're down in the game and they're down in the time clocks. They've got to be careful.
Just trying to corner freeze in the pocket here. Well, it uses the pocket right through. Pinball's through, but a chance. Sweden with a lead. Can throw weight and make some granite fly.
Den kan inte draga förbi om man inte tar Tunn insida liksom. Ja.
Yeah, it is. You are not going to see anything gentle or delicate here. Oscar Eriksen with
extension.
the rocket. The 5-second hog to hog takes care of those Japanese stones and 2 of the Swedish ones.
We look at the numbers. Hawaii 55 or 73% for Eriksen.
Fan, nu luktar det godis här. Nu är man ju lite sugen på en fruktkräft.
Oscar, an interesting guy to watch play. Just very ho-hum. You wouldn't know he's playing at a world championship. Not sure if there's a blood pressure time.
Yeah, you wonder about the heart rate. You know, if he's wearing the heart rate monitor, does it ever go up? Because he very rarely shows it.
Japan quickly moving, trying to save some time later.
Yeah, now they're trying to draw this rock around deep in the rings. They would have loved a little bit more separation. It was a great line. I think it's a super choice based on what opportunity they had.
90% så ligger vi 2. Ja.
Sticka fast och ligga 2. Ja.
Ja, ja. Ja! Hårt, hårt!
Nicholas Edin trying to use their own, run it back, pick that stone out. And again, it's an experience call. Somebody think, well, why didn't you just pick the back one up? Well, can see part of it. Let's just use our own. It's not a long run back.
Yeah, let's just make sure. And, you know, as good as he is at the little touch shots, we saw the draw to the forefoot, the tap in the forefoot. Again, this guy made his name on upweight, run back takeouts, managing those angles.
But if you'd watched earlier in the week, actually made that delicate intern tap through the hole to score 3 against the States, and just a phenomenal curling shot. As fun as it is to see the big weight shots like that, the quiet little finesse, knowing the angles.
Well, you don't win a couple of world championship titles, Olympic silver medal, Olympic bronze medal, without having all the clubs in the bag.
Well, it's going to pull out the driver to try and drive this one out of the rings.
Yeah, and that one sits a little bit more than half open. You'll see Nick attempt directly.
Well, 95 to 63, you're not going to be all that successful at 63, especially when your opponent's 30% better. But it is a 6-2 game.
So this one's going to run the center line a bit, and then it should grab the curl right here in the rings. And it does.
Stick around. Draw for the single point will be Japan. Go Aoki. Needs the forefoot here. Just cleaning this one in there. Shikuya, Aoyama, nicely done right to the button. They'll get their 1 point and a 6-3 game. Nice draw by the youngster, facing a couple. It's a 3-point game. Well, 2 ends remaining here. Japan, Sweden, this is both their last game of the round robin. Japan, this will be the last game of the competition. Sweden will be moving on, whether they're the 1 seed or the 2 seed. If they win, they're 1. If they're 2, if they lose, they're the 2 seed. And Scotland will take the first place after round robin. Scotland and Sweden into the semifinals. And all the playoffs start tomorrow. 1 more round robin session later on tonight. And here, 9th end, Sweden in a game that obviously you win, it's important, but I like what they're doing here. They're playing the tick shot.
Yeah, they are being pretty aggressive with their defense. This is a shot that they make a lot of the time. They know they're going to need it at some point in the playoffs. It's a great shot to become comfortable with, keep challenging yourself. And this speaks quite highly to Sundgren's ability. Remember, he got to throw a rock through the rings. And resetting yourself after that, it can be a bit of a challenge as a player.
Yeah, to me, it's just a real smart is, you know what, it is a 3-point game. It's close, but it doesn't have that close feel. And you go and you keep your mind sharp. You keep that focus of, okay, we're going to be playing close games. We want to have the hammer late in games. Let's play the tick like we are.
Yeah, and there's the potential that you won't play for almost 24 hours.
Yeah, depending on how it goes, who's into which semifinals will be which one. 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening tomorrow.
All of a sudden, you've been playing games, 2 games a day, really working your physical systems, and you know, it can be a challenge. So it's really good to stay sharp out here.
Doesn't make the tick though. It actually pushes theirs back, just biting back the forefoot. So there's 2 guards there. Japan trying to set up a steal. We'll slide over Russia, Netherlands over on sheet D. 5-5, a couple of steal ends in a row. 1, a single point, 1 of 2. And we're all square. Jaap van Dorp. Enter now, get past the front. And has to chip this one off the button and stick there to stop this slide of steals. Game they had control of here. Let it slip, will make the hit, but won't push it far enough, and their shooter rolls away. So it's a steal of 1 more. Russia now the lead after 8 ends. And Ann scoring that single point stolen in the 8th end.
It's huge. That is absolutely huge for Russia. And they have clawed their way back into this game as we take a look at Korea and Norway. Korea, an extraordinary opportunity here.
Looks like lying 3.
Yeah, this is an open draw for 4 points.
This is the last round robin game for Norway. They come in 7-4. They're into the playoffs. Seeding still to be determined, especially if Korea comes and wins this one. 4 points will help. 4 on the board for Korea. Wow, 6-4. Those games ever swung back and forth.
Japan would like to see the swing go their way here in this battle with Sweden.
Även om du träffar insidan så kommer den nästan flyga.
Rasmus Rana is going to do everything he can to clear the way into the rings. Oh, that might be a little bit of power there.
Real extension there, right up the center, spins it back up.
Hits in the center of those stones and still spins his shooter 5 feet off the center line.
Hardly even felt like he was had his hand on the handle, just sort of was on top of it. So just that one stone back of the 8-foot. Masaki Owai. They'll try and set something up. That double peel takes away any coverage they had out in front.
いや、吐くなら青山さんだよ。ちょっともう切れてるわ。
でもいいとこ行っと思うよ。
いいよ、センターかかればいい。お。Okay?
Okay.
And Japan tries to replace it. Oscar Eriksen out of the hack quickly. They don't need any time to set this shot up.
Yeah, just clear the front. Line one already. 6-3 game.
Japan's got to be as patient as possible. It's unlikely to get a miss. At some point, they'll be able to freeze to the one in the back of the 4-foot.
Hoping for a miss, putting these guards out in front.
Yeah, it's really tough to get a miss out of these guys. And you can see just how much pace they put on the stones. They run so straight. They get so much action off the stones. That extension, that power.
And lots of rotation, so it'll spin them out. We get to 4th stones now in this 9th end. A 6-3 lead for Sweden as they try to finish atop the standings.
And Japan sticking with the same tactic. They're putting the center guard up. I think this might be a time to come into the rings, freeze to the stone, and you might get a little bit of a jam, set up an angle, something you can guard or create the need for Sweden to make the double takeout.
Did you ever think maybe, I know there's the one in the back of the 8-foot drawn behind the yellow stone that was out in front.
On the wings?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might do that, and then Sweden could just pop one in on the other side away, but you've got to make them look at something different. This choice here, for you young skips at home, this is the exact shot they've made with ease throughout the end. So Rasmus Rana made it. Oscar Eriksen made it twice. And now it's the skipper's turn. Niklas Edin with the rocket.
Just makes it go away. Make that shot look very simple, very routine. The number of stones these teams have played.
Go Aoki. This 18-year-old.
Definitely a guy many of us will remember. The infectious smile, the shot making
Well, you just actually can't wait to see what he's going to be capable of the next time he's back here. I mean, this is a pure shot maker on this team.
And they were losing line, so it ends up, would have kept going, they would have been over curling. So good decision to let it stop in front.
Yeah, and this actually just forces Sweden to think about navigating another stone. It just, it might up the level of difficulty just a little bit. If those stones were frozen, you know what you'd see. Now, Niklas Edin on this last stone in the 9th end. Gonna try and pick the Japanese stone off the top of the forefoot. Lose the shooter, but hangs a point on the board. And that's the game.
They will pick up the single point. They pick that one out. Japan hung tough there with Sweden, but Sweden will be your top seed into the playoffs. 7-3 winners over Japan. Well, our feature game is over. We'll slide over Korea, Norway. Korea 5-5, Norway 7-4 in the 9th end. It is Norway with the hammer at 4 put up. In the 8th end, huge for Korea. Marcus Højberg.
Hard. 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 Hard.
Trying to play the hit, roll off to the side. They lie 2. So that's the potential tying points right now.
어디? 반. 두꺼운 반. 우스랑 똑같이 롤만 시키면 돼.
Song Sae-hyun, 27-year-old, third.
Yep, hard 가. hard 가 계속. hard. 무조건 가. hard. hard 슈터.
Trying to make this double.
hard.
Well,
Okay.
plan B was to try and roll it in. They don't roll very far.
Fem. Fem. Fem, 5,5. Linja er grei. Bare fart her. Linja er fin, den. 5,5.
Well, right down top of the 8-foot. Lie 1-2. Hoping maybe to tuck a little bit behind.
Okay. No, wait to the control. Okay.
Korea electing to hit the open one, knowing that there's potential of a wreck on the guard on the other side. Hit the open one. Try and make the roll. Kim Changmin, 32-year-old skip.
Yep. Yep. Whoa, whoa. Yes. Whoa.
83% on
Yeah.
the game.
Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Yes. Whoa. Yes. 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 Whoa. Whoa. Yes. Yes. Hard roar. Hard roar.
Hit, try and roll this one over. Doesn't quite get it over far enough. It is shot stone, so it's got to be come after.
Altså når du ruller litt ut igjen, så er den lettere å rulle. Det er kanskje ganske lett uansett. Ja. Ruller langt.
Bare sitt i 8-foten.
Ja. Hvor ga du det her?
10-5.
Nei, altså vil rulle. Ellers har han liksom bare tredje pilen.
Korean team winning the Pacific Championship last season. Played at the Olympic Winter Games. Stefan Wallstad, second year at the Worlds in a row.
Yep.
Winning the World Challenge in Norway.
Yep. Hard. Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Yep.
Be the team to play here.
Yep.
Magnus Fagbug trying to get the separation. Roll that one away.
봐야 될 것 같아.
Wait for there. Here.
So trying the double now, going after that. Where they roll to, chance to make the double, avoid giving up two. Got to make sure you make contact.
Yes. Yes.
Get one, make the double. Fantastic shot. Make that double and then force Norway to take a single point. It's looking like a deuce the whole way. It's a bitter pill to swallow for Norway.
Hold up. Ikke rør. Aldri.
Intern got to come up, get to the nose, and we'll stick around. So a single point. Stefan Wallstad and Norway take one in 9. Unable to get the deuce. It's a 6-5 game through 9 ends. Both teams playoff aspirations.
아, vi kan ikke stjære med det her.
시간 걸리는 사람들. 내 샷 할 때 타임아웃 그렇게 하겠죠.
형,
칩,
형
칩,
인터 들어나 아우터 들어나.
아웃턴. 아까 해봤어. 알아.
그러면 형 아우터 들어갈수록 칩샷도 그 방향으로. 칩샷 한다요. 아예 남기지 말자. 다 날려 그냥. 나가기만 하지 마.
I see all the nations' flags here on the final day of round-robin play at the 3-6-1 World Men's Curling Championship 2018. 6-5 the score. So we pick up coverage of Korea-Norway. 10th end. Norway down 1, has the hammer. It is their final round-robin game. They sit at 7-4. A win, they guarantee 4th place. An advantage with hammer in the playoffs in the qualifying game tomorrow morning. A loss, and it depends on how other games play out. They could fall as far as 6th, but they have clinched a playoff spot. Leaky buck, 97%.
Clean it. Wait, 좋아. 형, wait, 좋아. Clean, yep. 세하나. Whoa, Carl. 너무 세. Okay. 너무 세.
Won't be able to make the tick shot.
형, 어차피 둘이네.
So it'll go all the way through. See the numbers, 88% on the game. Magnus Nedregotten. Pardon me, Vagberg.
Litt tight. 3. Litt tight. Nære. Og bare fart. 3-4. Bare fart.
Playing in his first World Championship.
Frisk overkøll.
Played in the World Juniors the last 2 seasons. A bronze last year, 5th the year before.
Godt spill, Magnus. Bra. Clean it. 이렇게. 좋아. 오, room. 은수야 가.
Trying to get at that one that went into the rings by Vagberg.
은수야.
Stefan Valseth had a moment where he thought that was a guard. Team was kind of thinking, why was he sweeping it? Magnus Nedregotten, 2nd for this Norwegian team.
3-4.
Had a busy season, played at the mixed doubles, bronze medalist in the mixed doubles format.
Hard. 3분의 2.
Oh Yun-soo.
Okay.
79% on the game, 85 for the championship. Let's get this single peel.
Ja. Shotten, ja. Okay. Hold i gang. Yep. Bare fart. 7. Yep. Bare fart. 6 er bra. Switch. På kosten min.
Want to try and get one in there. It's a 1-point lead. You'd love to have Korea throw against the potential winning points.
Yep. Hard, Selna. Hard. Keep it up. Okay.
Well, hit roll to the side.
3. 2,5, 3. Litt forbi dammaskin.
Korea just under 2 minutes left on their clock as well. Norway about a minute more. Marcus Højberg.
Linja bra. Linja bra. Gå da. Kom i gang. Linja fin. Kan køle, Tor. Højberg. Køle. Ja. Nå er det forbi.
Well, trying to guard up their shot stone. %78% Song Sahyung.
Whoa. Oh, no, no. No, 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 no. Pass it!
Try and spill that one off. Bring another one into the rings. Another catcher possibly on the side.
Who's that thing? Den er bra. 2-2,5. Bare fart. Vil gjerne ikke ha 3. Bare 2-2,5. Litt avstand. Tenk. Vågberg, gjør du klar? Må ikke køle, ikke køle. Bra det. Bra, Kristian. 좀 더! 아이, 막 가게! 아이, 형! 가! 좀만 더! 가! 아웃?
Well, making these decisions very quick because not a lot of time on their clock. Seeing a lot of teams late here, really pushing the envelope with as far as the time clock. Peel the front, still Norway lying 1. There's a look at the clocks, minute 53 and counting for Norway, minute 13 for Korea. Both have the timeout though. As we are in skip stones, session 19.
Stefan Wallstad just slightly below his tournament average. Had a couple go awry on him in this game.
They're disappointed they didn't get their 2 in that 9th end. Would have been a big difference. Double made by Kim Chang-min. Korea calling for a timeout. That one hadn't even come down to rest, and they were calling their timeout.
아니 그건 드래그라서 절로 밀린다. 람프 봐야 될 것 같아.
형, 나 방금 올렸지?
인턴을 할 거야 어차피. 정타에서 약간 밖만 맞으면 되잖아. 인턴을 할 거야 어차피. 10개.
그냥 열는 것도 괜찮은 것 같은데요.
그러니까 열라고 인턴으로 하는 거야.
And their coach Lim Myung-sup comes out, but it really is, this timeout is less about shot selection and more about clock management.
Korea has the hammer, a 1-point lead. Make this guard go away. Norway will be in a position to make their decision. Well, they aggressively go after the run on that. Roll another one on, but it doesn't matter. It's the one that's in the forefoot.
And Norway have exercised their timeout.
Ja, syns det òg.
Well, decision, what do you want your opponent to play?
Han gjør jo innendragninga ser litt vanskeligere med at den ligger der også.
Vi kan ikke se doble, egentlig.
Ja, den skal dra. Hva synes du? Ja. Og så bare bruke litt tid for å la det gro igjen.
Well, another final. Netherlands beats Russia. They score 2 without their last stone in that 10th end. Netherlands pulls the upset, knocks off Russia. So Russia 5-6. They'll play Korea tonight. Netherlands 4-7 will play Italy in their final game. Big loss for Russia, dropping their 6th.
And they fought so hard to come back in that game and just ran out of time, ran out of rocks, and the Netherlands picks up another win.
So guard, looks like is the call. Just put this one out in front.
Ja, veldig nøytral nå.
It's obviously nice to lie the potential winning points, but try and secure a steal gives yourself another chance.
Yeah, the guard is critical. They ran through the other options, but the certain thing that Norway needs is a single point in order to force an extra end.
Litt trang faktisk. Ja, trang. Yep, hard. Kjempetrang.
This one's curling early.
They got to try and get off it, but it's going to give a shot here for the win. Don't even have to stick around, just make this one go away.
Yeah, just didn't have the rotation on that rock that he had on his first. It took a different path.
So Kim Chang-min picked this one out for the win and to move to 6-5.
Good.
Well, he liked it out of his hand. Sweepers like it. Sung Sayoung likes it. Korea likes it. They'll score 3 and pick up the win. So Norway in their last round robin game dropped that one. So they'll finish 7-5. 9-5 Korean win. They improve to 6-5. Play Russia tonight. Crucial playoff positioning on the line in the last round robin session. Well, this is our feature game. 7-3. Sweden defeats Japan. Well, 7th end first for Nicholas Adin with the hammer as the out turn. Trying to just tap it a little bit, just keep their shooter in front. They just get by the guard. Little tap, little roll, sit in behind that centerline guard. They just get by the guard and went to a perfect spot. So trying to freeze the shot zone or even just cut down the scoring area to get for that 3rd point. Go Aoki. The youngster just doesn't have the weight. Shikuya Aoyama can't drag it far enough, which means the forefoot's open for a third point. The two-time world champ Nicholas Edin not going to miss this very often. Into the forefoot for the third point, right to the tee line. So eighth end, draw the button here. The last stone, it's those two yellow stones. Go Aoki, facing a couple. Got to draw in to get that single point. And will do just that, but not able to mount the offense. And in 9, Sweden takes 1 handshakes and a 7-3 win. Sweden knocks off Japan, so they finish atop the standings. The other results from session 19 saw that score 7-3, Sweden winners. On sheet A. On sheet B, it was Scotland knocking off China 9-4, while Korea beats Norway 9-5, and Netherlands knocks off Russia. A tough loss for the Russians, 8-6. That leaves us with this as our standings. Sweden and Scotland are 1-2 seeds. Canada, Norway are into the playoffs qualified. Then Korea and Switzerland at 6 and 5. Russia, USA 5 and 6 just behind. Then Italy and Netherlands at 4 and 7. China, Japan 3 and 9. Germany rounding out the 13-team field at 1 and 10.
Nicholas, goal 1 accomplished. How does that feel?
Feels really good. When we got that loss in the middle of the round robin, we kind of felt like we might have let that first 2 spots slip away because Scotland kept winning their games, and Canada, obviously also one of the top teams here, they kept winning their games. But now with the win against Canada and then winning this last one too and securing that first spot in round robin, it's back to where we want to be, and we're in the good seat for the playoff games.
Okay, and speaking of the playoffs, what would a medal win mean for you here?
Would mean a lot to bounce back from the Olympics, and I think if we win something else than gold, I don't think we'll be 100% satisfied, but at the same time we really just wanted to come back here and play really well and show what we can do and give ourselves a chance of winning another world title, and I think we already have proved that we're one of the top teams that should have a chance, and hopefully we can make it to the final and get another chance of that title.
And what will you do in these 24 hours before your next game?
We got an up close and personal now, and then I think we got to practice tonight, and then haven't slept much the last few nights, so I'm going to try and pop a sleeping pill and sleep as much as I can before tomorrow.
All right, and again, congratulations and good luck moving forward into the playoffs.
Thank you.
Well, Nicholas Edin and Team Sweden top with 1 round robin session left for Ann Swisshelm, myself, Luke Coley, and our entire crew. Hopefully you're enjoying our coverage, and tune in later. More coverage of the 3-6-1 World Men's Curling Championship.